So, I want to talk about a couple of these social movements that's popular within the Black community, no matter which way you lean. You have Lives Matter and you have your Blexit movement, right? So, Black Lives Matter in 2013 in response to the death of Trayvon Martin. Blexit, I believe, was established in 2018, and with the mission of getting Black people to leave the Democratic Party and go over to the Republican Party. All right. And so I started thinking, and a lot of people have been asking me, why have you been going in so hard on Candace Owens? And to be honest with you, when I looked at her Instagram live, and then when I looked at her Instagram live videos exposing Kim Klacik, it really disgusted me because I'm like sitting up there like, this girl is on the same team as you. And honestly, like I said, I felt like it was an act of jealousy. She went in so hard on that woman. And I've even had Black conservatives reach out to me, telling me, expressing the same disgust that I have with the way that she went in on Kim Klacik. So I'm just like, you are not above reproach, honey. And no matter what anybody else thinks of you, there's still the opinion of the people that you're trying to have Blexit. So my whole thing is, and then you had Brandon Tatum co-sign, this ignorance, and then have the nerve to talk about anybody go after you or Candace Owens or whatever, blah, 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 whoop-de-whoop. So let me go into a little bit about Blexit for a second, because I thought this was interesting. Somebody sent this to me, and they were just like, Candace is definitely inspired by other people, down to pro-Blacks. And I want to tell you why. Because a young lady named Malia Conley originated the term in 2016 in the timely play off of Brexit to encourage fellow Black Americans to explore alternatives to extractive financial systems in the name of economic justice. Notably, Blexit formed as the product of the community meeting after the police killing of Philando Castile in Minnesota. So the original Blexit was supposed to be a pro-Black movement inspiring Blacks to consider Black-owned financial institutions and banks. And unfortunately, the movement didn't register itself. Hey, you doing? I'm going into the original Blexit. And unfortunately, this young lady did not file. So Candace Owens or whoever represents Blexit went ahead and hijacked the name, registered it, and now you have the Blexit. But I think that is very, very, very interesting that Black people are buying into all these movements, and many of them really at the end of the day don't benefit us. You got Black Lives Matter who's yelling about Black Lives Mattering, and the rhetoric stops at the door of the Black community. Literally stops at the door of the Black community. You cannot talk about Black Lives Mattering when they don't matter to us as a community. So I thought this was interesting, though, because, a lot of the framings and the news stories, she's going to save Black people from the Democratic Party. You know what I mean? And she's basically the Democrat plantation, get them on over to the Republican plantation. And this is what Black people are supposed to be buying into. Like, we are not smart enough to know when there is an agenda behind these movements, whether it's from a Democrat or a Republican. So the way I look at it, the Democrats hijacked the Black Lives Matter movement. They're active in 40 chapters, nationally. And the Republicans hijacked Blexit. Because when you look at, if you Google the founder of Blexit, you may see Candace Owens, Brendan Tatum, or you may see Mayla Conley, the originator of the phrase. And the framing of what she was doing is very similar to what Candace is doing. So these new conservatives, to me, they're not original. Like I said in my other post, they hijack the ideas and the credibilities of pro-Black conservatives, and they run with them. And I'll give you guys some reference point, because there's an article in News One, November 1st, 2018, which they interviewed the original founder of Blexit, and she talks about her vision for the movement as it being an economical movement for Blacks to basically separate themselves from the banking institutions and be autonomous and free themselves from financial demise. Basically a Black Wall Street mindset. And then Candace Owens and them hijacked it basically and turned it into this come on, Democratic Blacks, leave the Democratic plantation, come over to the Republican plantations, as if Black people trust Republicans. I mean, if Trump started a Patriot Party, I'm sure he'd get a hell of a lot of Blacks. But Black people aren't sold on Republicans. And unfortunately, all the Black faces that they pick to represent us is not going to sway us. And they haven't swayed us. And it's very apparent. So when you want to talk about people being original, people being for the Black community, somebody needs to ask Candace Owens, how in the world did you hijack another Black woman's movement, hurry up and get the title and the paperwork on it, and then reframe it? Because that's what I'm reading on Blexit. And this is something that somebody sent to me, and it's like, oh, shoot. And it's like, this is in Forbes. This is in Forbes. This is what I'm talking about. These people that want to be holier than thou, want to be the talking faces of the Black community. They not even original. They jocking other people's styles every way, which way you go, down to the Blexit movement. That's why a lot of Black people ain't buying it no more. This girl even threatened to sue Candace Owens, but there's nothing that you can do when you didn't do the paperwork. I'm pretty sure they're trying to take all kinds of intellectual property on anything that I don't register, because these people are grimy, and that's what they do. That's what they do. I mean, if you want to talk about Black people supporting Black people, and then you get down and peel the layer of some of these Black ops, you will see they're not for us. Because how the hell did Candace just happen to have a Blexit movement, and this girl was popping this Blexit movement off, trying to get Black people financially literate and economically autonomous from the financial system? That wasn't good enough to be funded. We got to fund Black people leaving the Democrats and coming over to Republicans. This is a game, my Black people. This is a game. And that's why I said, Candace Owens, you don't resonate with Black people, because we know a Black op when we see one. We know a Black op when we see one. This is from Forbes magazine. Malia Conley originated the term in 2016, a timely play off of Brexit, to encourage fellow Black Americans to explore alternatives to extractive financial systems in the name of economic justice. Notably, Blexit formed as the product of community meetings after the police killing of Philando Castile in Minnesota, which has been referred to as the second worst state in the country for Black people. To address racial oppression at large through economic activism and Black-owned institutions, the Minneapolis-based grassroots nonprofit supports African Americans exiting the financial systems of oppression It's about starting to build a system. Honey, take that. Get that to Dylan, honey. Building a system that can support us and be a healing institution for this country, according to the co-founder of Blexit, the Blexit at the time, Jonathan Banks. So my thing is, when it comes to these mainstream conservatives, I can't trust you. I can't trust you. I'm at the point now where it's like, I know that I am inspirational to a lot of you. And that's why I don't like to be lumped up in the millennial case, situation. It's like, I'm 38 years old. Yeah, I'm putting myself out there because I'm pretty sure these little grimy people are trying to do all their homework and dig up all their dirt. It's like, okay, you can play those games you want to. Some of us get dirty. But it's like, I'm just, and I'd never heard of this before about the Blexit organization. There being an original pro-black Blexit organization that had a completely different economical sense to it than what Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum are touting to the black community. And black people need to be up on game about that. They really do. We need to be up on game about the fact that these black ops, they hijacking their own people's movements. The only reason why she was able to steal on this girl is because the girl didn't do the paperwork. From what I'm reading in News 1, and y'all can check this out, November 1st, 2018, the poor girl didn't do the paperwork. So Candace, or whoever organized and did the paperwork for Blexit, basically stole on his sister. Y'all can look this up in Forbes magazine. You can look it up on News 1. So I often wonder who the real ops are. You know what I mean? And, when I saw, and, it just irritated me when I was just looking at Candace's Instagram story and how conniving she was being towards exposing Klasick, like she was being patriotic. It's like, so you just got a track record of trying to take down black women and steal on them. And this is how you think that you get support from the black community? Let me tell you something, honey. After that Kim Klasick stunt, the only people that are probably for you are white people. Black conservatives are not it. You lost a lot of black conservatives with those games. To me, it was a disgrace. Half of that stuff that you and Kim dealt with in terms of differing of opinion, let me tell you something, Candace. Pro-black conservatives got to clean up a lot of stupid things that you want to pander to white people and say about black people. We got to do that. Because you want to be all truth bomby and not tactful. And like I tell people, you can say something and then you can say something. And it's not about people not wanting to hear the hard truth. It's sometimes people don't know the intentions of the person that's spitting those hard truths. And that is why she does not resonate with the black community. And that is why she will continue to not resonate. Because to me, she's a black operative. You can change on all you want to, yay, hurrah, but you are not the face for the black conservative movement. You have a track record of saying too many foul things that have rubbed your people the wrong way and they don't know how to take it. So stop suppressing black conservative voices. Stop being inspired by them and then running off of what they say. Stop trying to take down other black conservative women. Because my thing is, even if the allegations that you put out about Kim Klasick were true, you still said a lot of foul stuff about that woman that was absolutely not necessary and made you look very vindictive. And this is why I'm like, what really got me out with you in the first place was George Floyd. I'm sorry. You turned the liberal blacks off back when you was running your mouth about him, and I still gave you a chance after that. But then it was like, then we get to the verdict, and then you still running your mouth sideways to pander to white people. And that's why I'm like, you know what? This girl ain't for us. She ain't on team black people. She team who is gonna give me money to pander. And a lot of people are realizing how selfish this woman has become. And that is why this is not the face. She is not the face for. She's not the face for the conservative movement. Diversify your conservative perspectives, because there's a lot of people doing work in the paint that they don't even want to acknowledge, because they have the audacity, the nerve, the pride to go and pander to people in a fashion that we won't. We will give you the facts, the understanding about the black community and what types of ways you can help and whoop de whoop de whoop. But we're not about to sit up there and continue to pander to rhetoric about the black community. So Candace Owens is not original to me. Blexit is not original to me, because she hijacked that from a pro-black initiative on the same mindset from a black woman. This woman is vindictive to me, and I don't think that she should be the voice of the black community, and I definitely don't take Blexit seriously at all now. So that is my opinion about Blexit. It is not an original Candace Owens movement, in my opinion. She hijacked Malia Connolly's idea, and because the poor girl didn't do the paperwork, she was able to steal on her. And the only reason why I've been going in on Candace, like I said, is because she shouldn't have came for Kim like that. She should not have come for Kim Klacik like that. And it's like, to me, it's like, I'm not running for politics. You know, I don't have anybody's endorsements, so I can actually say what I want to say. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't like bullies. And with people, you know, it's so contradictory to me that people will sit there and allow Candace to cancel people for cyberbullying and doing all this shit, and then turn around and let that girl do the same damn thing to Kimberly Klacik in the way that she. I mean, I'm looking at her video, and it's just Instagram story after Instagram story of vindictive guys. It's just too much to unpack. And then when she unpacked, it was like a 45-minute unpacking of damn near personal attacks. And then we get to the money laundering. I'm like, this ain't the face for the black conservative movement. And if it is the face for the black conservative movement, then I don't want to be a part of it. I mean, let's get some conservative libertarianism going, because you don't have to be Republican. Like, when I think about it too, I don't even feel like I am on the same side as Candace Owens. But she's clearly pandering to Republicans, and I'm more in the middle, where I'm like, I don't mess with the Democrats, but I will go more independent libertarian. But I don't mess with the Republicans. And honestly, seeing how some of these black Republicans are, I definitely don't mess with the Republicans, because I don't feel like, again, they are for us. And there's a reason why black people don't feel like they resonate with the Republicans, because of these front faces that they keep putting in front of us, talking about our issues, hitting on points that all of us know, but then you pandering to whites in a way, like she said during the George Floyd, why the hell would I identify with George Floyd? What, because he has the same melanin as me? I identify with an 8-year-old Asian girl. I'm like, girl, bye. Because black little 8-year-old girls know how to read, and they study too every day. You know, you are disconnected. And that's why your people not feeling you. So anyways, I wanted to put that out there, because I'm tired of these mainstream conservatives. You know, she went after Kim Klacik so dogmatically. She was just real conniving. And then turned around, and when she saw the heat coming on her within the black conservative community, then all of a sudden, oh, let me drop some sympathy junkie stuff. Oh, let's talk about my eating disorder. Oh, let's talk about why I do have the black support. And it's like, girl, you ain't got the black support. Blexit ain't got the black support. You got black people Blexiting Blexit. You got 38 chapters, and I'm pretty sure that they are not up and booming, and they probably not being super duper effective because y'all like to shut out and hand select conservatives. And I just got this little thing too. I gotta check my mic now, make sure. But they want to handpick the little black conservatives. Yep, it did. I gotta make sure that I do this. But they want to handpick their black conservatives. So sure that these people are not being super duper effective, especially if they have watching messages like those two do. So Brexit is a sham to me. It's a sham to me. Brexit is a straight up sham. And the only people that are biting into likely very emotionally inclined because there's a difference. Like, I hate the fact that they try to lump everybody. They like, you got the younger millennials and your older millennials. I would be considered an older millennial. I'm like, no, we are Generation Y. We are the 90s babies. We are the ones that when we still have education. So we are still old enough to remember a time before social media zomped our life. There was a time in our life where we didn't have these electronic devices distracting us. We had levels of structure and we could focus on academics and the purpose of academics, like reading is fundamental. Those were knowledge is power. We constantly saw commercials like that. Every time, the more you know commercials when I was younger. The commercials that came on, the more you know, knowledge is power, reading is fundamental. So we had a lot of those principles ingrained in us. The generations that came from before us, the real millennials, the ones that got zomped into the electronic devices, these are the ones that are, to me, emotionally imbalanced, whether they are liberals or conservatives. And these are the ones that can bite into any passionate vision that hits their sensibilities and makes somewhat sense. But at the end of the day, the vision of Brexit, it is what it is. But you're literally telling black people who don't trust Republicans to leave the Democrats and go on over to them. So good luck with that. I think a lot of black people are getting a more conservative perspective. You can definitely see that. But that's just not a Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum effort at all. But again, I'm over this or whatnot. Obviously, somebody is in their feelings because you got a reality check. Stop going after black females in your party. Because you never know which other black conservative woman is going to be sitting back just watching everything playing out and just be like, you know what? Enough is enough. You're a bully. You're a conniving bully. And you need to stop that, get over yourself, and start working with other women in your party instead of trying to be the glory whore of the Republican Party, the conservative movement. Because guess what? Kim Klacik was needed, and she is needed to do damage control. Like I said, every time you want to say something silly and pandering that doesn't resonate to black people. The reason why Kim came for Candace is because Candace says shit that does not resonate to the black community. She's in the trenches in Baltimore, so she's speaking to these blacks. So she knows more than some of you Candace Owens followers knows how these black people are black conservatives. She knows. So when Candace say anything off the wall and everybody's like, yeah, she's just speaking her mind and people can't take the real truth. It's like, sometimes you can spit the truth without the bombs. It might resonate a little bit more because then when you put in bombs out, you're really only appealing to the white individuals that want to hear you bomb your community with these truths. And then Kim Klacik got to get on the mic and actually just spit the truth without the bombs. So stop trying to take out the sensible voices in your party because guess what? The Republicans kind of need both of y'all. So have a good evening, you guys. Hopefully the Republican conservative infighting will stop. I am officially removed from the Black conservative movement. I am. And when I say that, just any association with mainstream ideologies, I am completely not with any of that. I'm a completely independent thought leader, sharing my perspectives, my conservative perspective, my Black American experience, but I am not a part of any major Black conservative movement. And I want to make that very, 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 very clear. That way, I think it'd be better to do that, for me to disassociate myself with the Black conservative movement. That, because, again, like I said, we're not monolithic. So they can pander and talk and mix message how they want to. And I can actually represent the libertarian space of conservative libertarians. And we can be in the middle making sense of all the emotional appeal. We'll just Rand Paul it on y'all. Big ups to Rand Paul. Big ups to Rand Paul. I hope he runs. Like, if Trump doesn't run, I think Rand Paul should run. I really think Rand Paul should run. I'd be with it all day. I'm totally turned off from Republicans. I am. I am completely turned off from Republicans because I see, and actually I got to give them a little bit of credit. Yay for Republicans. Y'all are kind of grimy and dirty because y'all was still on the idea in no time. And if it's not trademarked or written up or titled out or whatever, y'all was still on it. You out of luck. Sorry, Malia Conley. That's messed up. Blexit was originally a pro-Black movement. Understand that and remember it. It was a pro-Black movement before Candace and Brandon got their hands on it. And they registered it before that girl. So again, like I said, mainstream conservatives are not even original. Good night, everybody.